After 3 weeks of no action, it's finally race week again. We can finally look ahead at the Baku sprint race weekend, and we can finally get excited about our F1 race. So what is there to look forward to this weekend? On the Saturday, we have a sprint race. Our first sprint race of the year. It's been very controversial. A lot of team principals have said they don't like it because Baku is a very intense circuit already. It's got a lot of racing, a lot of crashes, and it's going to cost a lot of teams a lot of parts. So a lot of teams have been preparing spare parts over this extended break. Christian Horner has been especially outspoken about this. He has been very against the idea of a sprint race in Baku. He has said that it would be a great spectacle for the fans, which is obviously what we are looking for. And Christian Horner, obviously, he's going to find something to complain about, isn't he? I think the sprint race, it can be good here. I think I love Baku, to be honest. I think it can have a good sprint race this weekend. I think I'll have good racing all round. And also, they have changed the format for the sprint race. The new format is we will have one practice session, practice one on the Friday. We will then have a qualifying as well on the Friday. So we get Friday action this weekend, which will set the grid for the race on Sunday, the Grand Prix race on Sunday. Then on Saturday, we will have, I think, another practice session in the morning. We will then have a extra qualifying session to set the grid for the sprint race. We will then have the sprint race on the Saturday, and then the sprint race will go out on the Saturday, and then the result of the sprint race will have no effect on Sunday's Grand Prix. I don't know, this sounds a lot of racing. It sounds very difficult for the teams. It will be good. It will be a good spectacle. I guess we'll see how it turns out. Now, current form as we go into this race now, Red Bull are just ahead of the field. They've been drinking Monster Energy drinks from Lewis Hamilton along with their Red Bulls. They're that fucking good. Let's be honest here. I do think that Mercedes are going to bring a few upgrades. There are a few talking points with upgrades in a minute to talk about. But on current form, Red Bull, you just expect them to run away with it again. The only way that Red Bull don't run away with it is obviously if they crash in the qualifyings or they have any sort of engine failure like they did last race in Australia. I think that would make for a more entertaining race. I think the sprint race, if the sprint race could just jiggle things up, you know, jiggle, and it could be quite interesting, I think. So, yeah. Now, upgrades. McLaren, Alpine and Mercedes are the big three that are bringing upgrades. Those are the big three talking points. I think McLaren, they've been very lacklustre this season. Lando Norris has had an absolute shitter, a stinker so far, along with Oscar Piastri. Their pace just hasn't been there. The qualifying pace hasn't been there. He's going to be very down at the moment, you know. But you know what? It's a learning curve. They're going to get better. They're going to bring upgrades. Hopefully they can improve. Now, Alpine, despite the big crash they had in Australia, with their two cars, they say they are still going to bring some upgrades. Their pace, I mean, to be fair to Alpine, their pace is expected. The other big three teams ahead of them, Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari, and then of course Aston Martin this year are very strong. So if it weren't for Aston Martin being this strong, then Alpine would be whereabouts where they'd want to be. But because Aston Martin are so strong, Alpine feel like they need to bring some upgrades. They need to get into the mix. They need to improve. And then Mercedes, obviously. Mercedes, Toto Wolff, they've all said they are bringing considerable upgrades to that Mercedes. They're going to improve the drivability of the car, the speed of the car, everything. So Lewis Hamilton can stop crying, can stop whinging, and can stop being a wind-up merchant. Keep pushing, man. Now that leads me on to the final talking point for this weekend before we get going is my predictions. Now, I do think that Max Verstappen is going to win it. What a surprise there. I don't think Fernando Alonso is going to get on the podium. He hasn't had the best of luck in Baku previously. I think he is going to maybe have an incident that puts him either further down the field or a DNF. I'm not sure he'll do well. I think Mercedes will be back this year. I feel like their car ain't the best in the straights. The drivability, if they improve the drivability, it should be pretty good in sectors 2 and 3. 2 especially around this circuit, maybe not in 3. But if they are able to increase the speed and the drivability, they could be good here. I think Lewis Hamilton can finish quite high up. I think Ferrari, I'm not sure what's happening with them. They are bringing no upgrades to Baku. I think they could find themselves further down than they expect. I think Ferrari could really struggle here. And overall, I think it might be a difficult weekend. I think McLaren maybe can have a couple cars in the top 10. Unlikely though. More likely pushing towards Lando being in the top 10. When we get further down the field, Haas, maybe they can fight something. I think Williams, especially. Williams, maybe Alex Albon. It's going to be a chaotic race, so maybe he can get up there. I don't think Logan Sargent will be able to do anything. I also think that Alpha Tauri have terrible cars this year. Who knows what's going to happen? It could be one of those weekends with them where they are able to get a car further up, but most likely it's going to be a weekend full of incidents and they will struggle. Now that is my roundup of this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy, please subscribe, please like. There will be more videos coming, there will be reviews coming, more talking points to come. And let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments below. Do you think Mercedes will be better? Do you think McLaren will be better? Who do you want to win? Who do you hate? Is Lewis Hamilton a wind-up merchant? Is he a whinge merchant? Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.